Welcome to O Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're great. I think I'm great, but that's a self-assessment. I know I'm top shelf, that's for sure. It's my shelf, I think I know. But I still complain. I don't know, it's ridiculous. But yeah, let's just have an observation, though. I think we all complain a lot, everywhere. You have a different level. Some things we complain about, but one thing that I'm starting to notice is we complain about really first world problems. It's all relative. I get it. Well, we complain about traffic, of course, Wi-Fi. We complain about waiting in line at a coffee shop that has 40 different drink options and 3 are different types of oat milk. When did we start having milk that didn't require nipples at some point? That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, but we're complaining. But while we're complaining, we're probably on our smartphone, either on it or it's in our pocket. We got food in the refrigerator, clean water. Air condition is just a whizzing in the background, keeping us cool. And I'm not insulting us at all. It's all about perspective. And 2, I checked before I came on, 57 countries and 57 countries and over 500 cities now are listening to this. Thank you so much. However, if you're listening to this, you've got some type of internet or Wi-Fi or, I don't know, carrier pigeon bringing stuff to you. But historically speaking, the United States and other developed nations, we live in abundance. We've got technology. We got opportunity-rich environments. And at this time, it's more advanced than any time in history. And as it should be, we should be evolving. Right now, around the world, over 1.1 billion people still live in multidimensional poverty. And by that I mean they don't have access to education or health care or just what we would consider basic necessities, reliable sources of this. And about half the world's population, get this, lives on less than $2.50 a day. Let that sink in a little bit. I know you can make up different scenarios or whatever. They may not need that much. Cost of living's different in different areas. We can excuse that away. But when we talk about problems, we have to ask a question. Our problems, compared to what? Compared to what? Wherever you live, whatever you do. So I looked at different things. I dug in on this because it got on my nerves. I got on my nerves, believe it or not, about some of the things I complain about. It's usually impatience or whatever drives that. I'm working on it a little bit. You are my support group. But when I looked at the top 10 things from various sources and I compiled them, one of them is I can't speak legibly. Anyway, these are not in any particular order. These are just surveys talked about the top 10 things that people complain about. And so I'll just take them in no particular order. Slow internet. 1 in 4 Americans say slow internet is one of their most frustrating daily annoyances. Meanwhile, millions of people, they don't even have electricity. Slow internet. Remember the days? I remember the first time I ever heard about the World Wide Web. I still think I have 14 million hours on AOL and some CD disc. I remember the first time Glenn Johnson showed me, you had to type it in, www. blah, 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 and it was a blinking prompt. Guys, that was in the 90s, 30 years ago. Remember dial-up? All those all that was all just, oh, I'm high tech. This is fantastic. You had to carry your cord around with you and plug into an Ethernet, and that was high tech. Now, if you don't have Wi-Fi at any given time, the last time, and it's been a couple of years, I was at Venice Beach in California. It had on one of the palm trees, just a note, hey, Wi-Fi. It's free Wi-Fi on the beach. And it's pretty soon going to be that way everywhere. But it's not even the access to Wi-Fi. Americans aren't complaining about no access to Wi-Fi. They're saying slow Wi-Fi is one of their most frustrating daily annoyances in life. Hello? Getting to the next exit before I wet my pants is more important to me than Wi-Fi. Anyway, I'm not normal, and I think we know that. But that's it. We complain about that. I think that might be a first world problem. Thoughts? Okay. Let's move on. How about that? Traffic and commuting. Okay, I know that. Many Americans spend hours every day in traffic. Hours. I'll stand by it. I've lived all over the country. I've lived a lot in the South and out West. But I travel all over the country, and I get it. I believe the 91 in Southern California is the most frustrating strip of traffic if you're talking about commuting. This is 2.5, 3 hours to go 60 miles in the morning and at night. I think Atlanta is the worst traffic on the face of the earth. In other places, okay, different degrees. We're in a car. We have all sorts of information. We're on the web. We've got our smartphones. While many times in other areas, people are walking miles to work or miles just to get water. They don't have access to stuff. They would love traffic. There's no such thing as traffic. Yeah, and some of you are saying that's why they don't complain. They don't have traffic. Absolutely. First world problems. Hanging out in traffic. There's so many different ways. There's so many different modes of transportation that all you've got to do is leave earlier or later and you can mediate that traffic. It took me an extra hour to drive from Vegas to San Diego. It's because I left at the wrong time. I knew better and it caught me. Yet, the things we complain about. That's probably a first world. And if you do it for your job, well, you chose where you live and you chose where you work. Oh, I'm not going to get on that high horse. But anyway, first world problems. Waiting in line. Guilty. Oh, a line? Just anesthetize me, please. The coffee line. I don't eat. I eat at Felix's Oyster Bar in New Orleans. You know why? Because across the street, Acme Oyster Bar, the line is around the corner. They've got better merch, I guess, because they're the same freaking oysters come out of the same water. It's around the corner. So I'm not waiting in that line. I go to Felix's across the street. Fantastic. Just as good. Doesn't have the fancy name, although it might. Eventually. It was fantastic. So good things happen sometimes, but I understand the complaining about lines. I'm not getting near a theme park. Are you kidding me? I'm going to wait in line 2 hours for a 30-second ride? Madness. I don't do it, so I don't complain about it. But if I had to, you see me in a line somewhere, I'm complaining. Meanwhile, in other areas, people are waiting in line for food, not restaurant food. Rationed food or water or health care. Yeah, and I'm complaining because the coffee line's too long. First world problems, for sure. What about your phone battery? Phone battery life. If my phone battery gets below 50%, I start twitching. I'm like Richard Dreyfuss at the end of What About Bob? It's like, oh, I gotta find something. And if an outlet doesn't work at an airport, what is going on? Is civilization losing its grasp with the needs of the population? Yeah. Drives me crazy. And that's because I've got plenty of battery. It's not enough. And then there's whole places, we talk about entire regions of the world with no power at all. They don't have any power, much less a cell phone tower. It's almost like Alabama out there. Crazy. My battery's dying. That's a first world problem. I have a battery. I have a phone. I need to get on my slow Wi-Fi. Check the traffic patterns. That's a top fiver right there. The things we complain about. Streaming service buffering. Now, you should have joined me with the internet in the 90s or 80s or whenever it came along. Right now, we watch YouTube videos on our phone constantly. And when it buffers or it's slow, people lose their minds. Remember when you had to wait 4 minutes for an 8-second video? Yeah. If Netflix paused for 5 seconds right now, the earth would stop rotating on its axis. Yeah, and meanwhile, you got families and whole villages or whatever, but they don't have television or internet or even electricity. A lot of people are getting off the grid so they don't have to deal with all this stuff we're complaining about. That's another topic. All right, here we go. Airline delays. Flights delayed 2 hours. What? You've got to be kidding me. If it's delayed or if there's no Wi-Fi on the airplane now. I remember when that came along, it was like, what? You're kidding me. Now, if it's delayed, you lose your mind. Forget the reason why. Safety, mechanical, whatever it is. You probably shouldn't be flying a lot of times. I'm right there with you, though. The inconvenience. Meanwhile, people are walking. People are horse and buggy. A Mennonite won't complain about airplane delays, that's for sure, or the internet or other stuff. But anyway, that's what we do. First world problems. I'm delayed. I'm not canceled. 30-minute delay. First world problems. Oh, growing up, this was a big one. Running out of hot water. I ran out of hot water at a hotel the other day. I haven't run out of hot water in so long. But it didn't get freezing cold. It just got a little lukewarm. Yeah. Or if it's a little cooler than expected, if it's not grand piping hot the whole time of my 30-minute shower, I don't take 30-minute showers. I might if we could have that much hot water, but that's part of it. Growing up, man, we had 5 people in one house with one bedroom. Sorry. No, I'm not from the 1800s. One bathroom. And I'm telling you, when I had 2 teenage sisters, that bathroom was coveted property. But you also knew, get your shower early. Because if you're 4th or 5th in line, please. Yeah. A lot of people don't even have clean drinking water, much less shower water. They go down to the river or wherever. Yeah, that's underrated right there. But that's running out of hot water, first world problems. Food delivery taking too long. If it's 50, remember Domino's, if it's more than 30 minutes, it's free. Have you ordered food lately? Sometimes it is immediate. Sometimes it's longer. I order Amazon sometimes and hit the buy and there's a knock on the door. Here you go, sir. So we get used to that and it's boom. If it takes a little bit longer. Yeah. Meanwhile, malnutrition is a daily reality for some people. How about this one? I've complained about all these at one time or another. Too many emails or notifications. Just a digital overload. A lot of that is self-induced. I'm not even talking about productivity on this call. I'm talking about gratitude. However, some people, they have no communications. They have no education. And yet we're complaining about all of our emails and all of our digital overload. And what we'll do is we'll post that on a social media and then scroll to see how many clicks we get and who agrees with us. First world problems. And then this is one, I'll just say it, it's political frustration. I don't have frustration with politics. I have frustration with people that are talking politics constantly. And this ranks way up with Americans on their concern because we're split 50-50, and it doesn't matter your stance. Half the people are going to be pissed about it. And that's it. However, we have two sides. A lot of companies, they're under regimes that you have no rights. There's no vote. We can blame ourselves, and it's kind of hoity-toity, nose in the air, beard stroking, pipe holding jargon after the fact. Your side's just as bad, no matter what your side on. But pontificating and complaining about your political frustration, it's the new pickleball. It's not new. Also, none of this means that our complaining and our frustration is fake. No, it just means our problems exist inside of abundance. You can't deny that. Let's look at some of the complaints from 50 years ago, just 50 years, and some are less than 50 years ago. I am 60. Will soon be 61. Don't tell anybody. So when I was getting in my formidable years of double digits, this is the things that people were complaining about. In America, gas shortages and fuel rationing. I remember the lines for gas. And when you got there, you couldn't get but a little bit, just in case. Jimmy Carter. Limited long-distance phone access. Remember the collect calls? Call and collect, my mom would, she knows we can't afford this. Or when you're talking to grandma, hurry up, that's long distance. Even if you could make it at all. Oh, the early days of cell phones and all that, the roaming charges, all of that. Okay, now we have a supercomputer in our hand. What about 3 television channels? And they signed off at midnight. Remember that? Dun, 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 dun. Now some people would complain because they play the national anthem when they sign off. Oh, remember the rabbit ears? This isn't that long ago, people. You had to have an antenna to get it. Now we complain because we got 3,000 channels and there's nothing on. First world problems. Mail. Not email. There was no email. Remember when the mailman, the postman, the mailman? I remember Gary Jordan, good friend of the family. He was our mailman for a while. They walked around in shorts with a bag with the mail in it. And they brought it and put it on your mailbox that was on your porch by your front door. What? Now they would get accused of attempted robbery. You know why he wore shorts? So my dog wouldn't get a hold of his pants leg and start tearing it up. That happened. Snoopy. He's no longer with us. Anyway, slow mail. Right now, we got to have it right now. I'll be completely transparent with you. If I look on Amazon and I can't get it later today or tomorrow, I'm probably not going to order it. Yeah, I'm probably going to order it. It just arrived when I leave. But I'm like, same day delivery on anything. Food. I can get food just right here. Yet, 50 years ago, we were complaining because it takes 4 days to get a piece of mail from Maine to New Mexico. Right now, we got to have it right now. 4 days was a complaint years ago. Limited medical technology. That's what we complained about in we'll just say the 70s. Limited medical technology, meaning could be anything. You look at what was happening back then, not too far before I'll say the 50s and 60s. Yeah, we were very limited. But just think what we got today compared to then. But you can go have all kinds of stuff, MRIs, all these things, the brain scans, all these things that are every day, no problem. They just automatically do it. Back then, you did not have that technology, and there's probably a lot of people suffered or even passed away from that limited medical technology. It still happens today, but just look at how much we know and the breakthroughs that we have. Access to higher education. Now everybody goes to college. Most people that go to college probably shouldn't go to college. I'm not going to talk about higher education now. Let's talk about it then. You had to go away. Oh, it was very limited who could go to a higher education situation. Workplace injuries. It was crazy. You had a mortality rate. And then I'm not going to talk about OSHA, but until some of the occupation safety standards came along, you had a lot of people who died at work. Safety was not a thing. Now you've got all sorts of stuff that has made it so much healthier. You look at these plants and in manufacturing, they'll show you the days without a reportable accident. And that number's crazy. Instead of 0 or 1, now you got some big ones. But back then, no. See, these are real things people are complaining about too. The life expectancy. I remember when the life expectancy was in the 60s. And before 1950, it was in the 40s. Now people are living to 80s, 90s. You hear every day a bunch of people living to 100, triple digits. I've got an acquaintance whose mother just passed away, 100 years old. Yeah, longer life expectancy. That was a problem 50 years ago. Just the sheer, I grew up in a house that didn't have central heat and air. I'm not that old, people. We had a floor furnace, which I melted several toys on, by the way. And we had a window unit air conditioner for the whole house. Again, me, 2 sisters, and a mom and dad. Yeah, we were hot or cold all the time, depending on the weather. I move out and they pave the driveway and get central heat and air. Maybe they could afford it because they didn't have to buy my groceries at that time. And then the thing also is, I talk about the 3 channels on TV. Also, you got your news. You got a little bit in the morning, at 6 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. But you didn't get global information. You didn't care about global information. You may hear about a war or something major. It was mainly what's happening locally. News, weather, and when's the next flea market, and what's happening around the situation. And traffic wasn't a big deal because you didn't have as much traffic. So today we carry the entire world's knowledge in our pocket. Most, if not all, Americans have internet access, computers, smartphones, all of the above in your home, on your person. So our progress has been unbelievable. No one would ever thought it. The futuristic shows from the 70s and 80s, we passed that a long time ago. But strangely, we still complain. I think it's human nature. We'll talk about it a little bit. But if you live in America right now, it reminds me of something I heard recently with a country music star. She was complaining because she was on the road 180 days a year. And she was tongue-in-cheek reprimanded by another country music star saying, hey, no whining on the yacht. Meaning, look at our life. We've got it pretty good. I think we could all talk about that in America. But we complain. And why do we do it? Why do we complain? I'll say 3 reasons. It's human nature, it's relative comparison, and it's many times privilege blindness. So let's talk about those. Human nature. Humans will normalize comfort very quickly. Yesterday's miracle becomes today's inconvenience. An example, I remember I grew up, we didn't even have a toaster. It's not because we couldn't afford it, it's because we put the toast in the oven with the broiler on. We put butter on it and put it under there, and that was the best toast because the butter toasted into it. And then we got a toaster, and it happened so quick. Wow, we've got toast. Yeah, but it's not the same, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait on the toast. I won't do it that way. I want it this way. So it's a great Upgrade, right? But I'm give and take. Then I think one of better examples, we were the last house on the block to get a microwave for reasons I don't want to talk about. And it was so cool because I've been in everybody else's house. And when you first get that, you put cheese on a piece of bread and put it in there and just watch it bubble up. Oh, look at that. And you cut a hot dog in a spiral shape and throw it in there. And, you're not cooking. You're in a lab right now. And look how fast. I can cook a baked potato in 8 minutes instead of an hour. Wow. 30 days later, what is taking so long? I've got to wait 3 minutes on my popcorn. So we normalize things. And whatever was this great upgrade, dial up, it's so good. Oh, my goodness, it's so slow. Why is my Wi-Fi? Is this Wi-Fi organic? So we normalize it. And comfort comes quickly, and then we need more. The second one is relative comparison. Not your relatives, not your family tree. We sure don't want to do that. We compare ourselves to our neighbors, though. Whatever they need. Keeping up with the Joneses. Our neighbors, people in our world, or people, now it's so bad because it's people online or whatever. We got to keep up with them. But we don't look at the global population because we're doing so much better. But it's relative. Poverty is relative. I saw the description of where the poverty line is in America. You don't look. It'll piss you off. If you don't have a gaming system, if you don't have a cell phone, if you don't have yada, you're considered below the poverty level. I don't want to talk about it. However, we compare ourselves to our neighbors and our regions or whoever's in our world. That is why that human nature kicks in too. I've got this, it's great. Oh, wait, you've got that? Ooh, I need that. I see these bed commercials. I don't need a bed. I got a great bed. By the end of the commercial, I'm thinking, what a piece of crap I'm sleeping on. I want that. Oh, that's better. What, you can brew coffee in the bed and it will cook bacon if you don't have somebody on the other side? I'm living in poverty here. Relative comparison. And then the third one is privilege blindness. When life gets comfortable, we forget how fragile comfort once was. And sometimes we act like spoiled brats. When you're not comfortable, it's bad. But you have to look at that because you're blind to it. Your privilege has blinded you. I'm not about white privilege or American privilege or anything. I'm just talking about what you get used to and you get comfortable. You forgot it. You forget how fragile comfort. Go camping without some of the necessities of life and you're using a tree root for a pillow. Comfort is fragile. Then you're looking for the most comfortable tree root and you find one. It's, oh, okay, this is better. See what I'm saying? We're just spoiled brats sometimes. First world problems. The thing is, there are some negative impacts to complaining about our first world problems. It shrinks our perspective. It really does because all we see is right here, our little world. And when our perspective is shrunk and we are spoiled and we complain about how bad we have it. That's why gratitude is so important to me, to keep me grounded. Your gratitude is reduced. It's important to be grateful for everything. It's harder sometimes than others. I get it. But we're complaining about first world problems. It's funny because it's not funny. It's an observation. I'm a Hilton points person. Not that anybody else is not just as good. It's just once you start accumulating points, that's how they get you. I know a difference in a Hilton Garden Inn bed and a Hampton Inn bed. And then recently I stayed in a Holiday Inn bed. Okay, I mean, it's a price point. But Holiday Inn has got the cinnamon rolls for breakfast. Oh, okay. I'll put up with a not as comfortable pillow and a hard mattress to get to a better breakfast. Okay, see, it's a compromise. But when your perspective shrinks and you lose your gratitude, that creates some negativity. And that Negativity spreads like wildfire. Because what I just said, I compared Hilton Garden Inn to Hampton Inn. Same chain, same owner. Then I threw in Holiday Inn. And Hilton people are like, Holiday Inn. But then I said they got a better breakfast. What? It's all perspective. And negativity will spread like crazy. And what that does, it distracts you from real opportunities and gratitude. That's why complaining is fun. We like to do it. Bitching, moaning, and groaning, that's a pastime that some people are good at. But also trains your brain to see the problems rather than the hashtag blessed. Come on. I am sitting right here looking at memorabilia from my past. I cannot sit here very long and not think about my dogs. I look at my calendar. It's booked with things to do. I've got my dad's clock over here. It makes me think of him. Plus, it's got some useful information. I see some of my accomplishments. That's great. All around me. Yet, I'm going to complain about the clutter, or I need something more. It'd be cool if I had a TV right there. My sound system, another room. I need to get one in here. If your mind is trained to think of negatives, or what do I need? Instead, what do I have? What do I need? What do I want? I'll complain, and my gratitude slips, and I'll be negative. I'll be negative to other people. Oh, your office is so cool. Yeah, I wish I had that. What? Look around, dude. And complaining is contagious. It's so contagious. You just start complaining about something or in a group. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Stirring it up. Here comes the tsunami. So I'm going to stop that right there. Gratitude is also contagious. Some of the best responses I get are to my gratitude posts. And I owe you one. It's been a couple of weeks. I've been so busy. I'm so grateful that I've been busy. But the thing is, a lot of people don't even see themselves as complainers. They don't notice it. Yeah, you're complaining. You complain too much. I complain about your complaining. 5 ways to notice when you're complaining about first world problems. Does the problem involve convenience or survival? I think there you go. There's your litmus test. My complaint is so many people don't know what litmus means. Litmus paper? Google it. But if you're complaining about something, if it's just about convenience, and most of those that I named, they were convenience, not survival. If technology is involved in your complaint, technology. Most people don't have technology, or they have limited technology. If you're complaining that your Wi-Fi is not organic and your oat milk is not processed with the latest deconfibulator and the wiggling pin is wobbled off the wobbling shaft, you might notice that you're complaining too much about first world problems. If it would have sounded just ridiculous 30 years ago, enough said, then you're probably complaining about first world problems. Let me think of an example. 30 years ago, that would have been 1996. MTV is showing way too many videos. That's a complaint. Music television is dead. There are no videos there's no music on music television anymore. If I complain because they show too many videos, that would be absurd today. It'd be an ancient, archaic statement, and it would be complaining about first world problems. If someone in another country would trade place with you instantly, there you go. I guarantee that they're trying to. They want to trade places. Necessarily, they're more grateful. They would love to just stay, just be here. Or here's the big one: just wait an hour. If the problem disappears or changes in an hour, all right, that might have been a little frivolous. That might have been a little I've always said, and trust me, I am not a person to emulate most of the time. I wouldn't trade problems with anybody. Because what I see as a problem is nothing compared to what the guy next to me is going through that I don't even know about. So that's why I want to talk about 5 steps. If your worst problem is slow Wi-Fi or a Starbucks line, you're doing pretty good. But to switch gears, I want to talk about how do you embrace gratitude instead of complaints. Gratitude is a self-motivating, self-perpetuating, positive impact on your minute, not just this hour, or this day, or this week, or your life right now. How can we embrace that instead of complaining? First thing is just zoom out. Zoom out a little bit. Compare your life to humanity, not just your neighborhood, not just your house, not your city. I have lived in 8 cities. Let me think real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cities. Yeah, very different. Very different when you look at them. And I've done pretty well in all of them. Not by the standards of even the city. I've lived in decent neighborhoods. I've lived in poor neighborhoods. I've lived in neighborhoods that you give up your housing to be in a location. You give up the upper crust level of your housing to be in a location till you get to stuff better. So different parts of your life go up and down. You control that. But when I zoom out, I find that, wow, even in my city of Las Vegas right now, I'll take it. When there's something I don't really care going on around me, just zoom out and then go further globally. Everybody in America can zoom out and feel pretty good. And if you're not, you're majoring in the minors. Also, the second thing to kick up your gratitude is remember history. Let's think about grandparents. I love my grandparents. I would give a ridiculous amount of anything for another day. And when I think back to them, not my time with them, but what they had to deal with. My grandparents didn't have indoor plumbing or running water. Indoor plumbing or their refrigeration was a creek. And this is the early 1900s. There was running water and electricity and all that stuff back then. They didn't have it. They didn't have it. They didn't have TV at all when my mom was a kid. Of course, they walked to school in snow uphill both ways. Yeah, I've heard all those stories. But no, in reality, they had a simple life. I could not survive that way. It was wonderful for them, and it made them who they are. And who they are made my parents who they are, which made me who I am, which is opportunity for improvement. However, when I complain about something, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 devices hooked up to my Wi-Fi right now. I don't have a lot to complain about. I'm grateful. The thing is, another thing I do, and I do it daily. I don't promote it that much, but in my gratitude post, I talk about 3 things right now. Not world peace, not the blah, blah, blah. It's like right now. It could be, I like this apple fritter I've got and the hot coffee, and the fact that I could go stop in Barstow, get gas, use the bathroom, and get a snack all in one stop. I'm grateful for that. But if you picked 3 things daily, that will help your gratitude. It can be big. It can be your health or your freedom or your family or opportunities. It can be that big deal you just closed. It could be that broke 80 on the golf course or time with just a good friend. Just time. It was so good to catch up with them. Name 3. Great thing to do is that before you go to bed. Just think, what 3 things happened today that I'm really grateful for? That will kick that up. Maybe a little less complaining. Maybe. Another thing you can do is just help somebody. Help somebody. Your gratitude is going to grow directly, then exponentially in relation to your generosity. By that, if I'm generous to somebody, if I help somebody, and I don't know what that means. It can be helping them across the street. It can be holding the door for somebody. It can be helping them with yard work, helping them move, taking them to the airport. Your gratitude is going to be exponentially more than the generosity you show. Pay it forward. You can't outgive. That helps with the gratitude. And the thing is, if nothing else, just celebrate. Celebrate opportunity. Celebrate victory. Our country is such, and most countries, a lot of countries are such, that freedom and opportunity is at a historic high. And it's fantastic. And you look at history, it was rare not too long ago. Then I'm not talking, you can talk about racial stuff, sex stuff, women, all these things. We've come a long way. We get beat up a lot for the sins of the past. Yeah, I think we've fixed most of them. The new stuff, yeah, we have to address it. We have to look at it. There's room for improvement. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Celebrate victory. Celebrate opportunity. Celebrate freedom. We're not perfect. There's no perfect country. But historically speaking, we're one of the most free and innovative and opportunity-filled environments that's ever been created. And part of the reason I'm hitting this is we're about to hit 250 years. It's going to be crazy in July. But I can speak freely. I can say whatever I want. There was a time when you get canceled or you need to be woke or whatever. Screw that. That didn't last long, did it? Now, if you want to cancel me, that says more about you than it does me. But I can speak freely. I can start a business. I can pick a career. I can travel. I can learn just about anything. I pull up a YouTube video and learn how to worm a camel. I don't know why I said that. But I can. You know why I can? Just because I want to. Yeah, but travel anywhere. I don't need a Rand McNally atlas. I've got a guider right in my phone. Billions of people throughout history would have considered the things we have today unimaginable. Unimaginable. I consider them unimaginable. Recently, I had to do a speech, and I found out the night before. Thank you. 80% of the people there don't speak English. They speak Spanish. And by 80%, they don't speak English. You know how much Spanish I speak? You can find it on a menu. That's about it. And it hit me in the middle of the night. Actually, the alarm at the hotel went off at 2 a.m. Yay, that's how you like to wake up, right? Anyway, it hit me. Wait, how can I get this through to these people when they don't understand a word I'm saying? It hit me. I had a transcript of the speech from before. I put it in one of the AI tools, converted it to Spanish 10 seconds. By the next day, I just told the administrator, print this off. They need to know the story. We'll use translators to get my points. But my points came from the story. Boom. Unimaginable. This young redneck white trash boy from Sheffield, Alabama, 60 years later, is relating to people who don't even speak the same language about things that had happened in his life. And somehow, because there was this technology available, they were shaking their head yes, even though they're from across the world. Unimaginable. But that's the kind of world we live in. So the next time your Wi-Fi slows down, just pause. Take a breath. Look around. Because you're living in a time where food is abundant. Information is instant. Travel is available to span continents, to go around the world. And opportunity exists in ways that previous generations right here never even imagined possible. Doesn't mean it's easy, though. No, it's not easy. but it does mean something important. And that's you have far many more reasons to be grateful than you do to complain. And the thing is, when your gratitude replaces your complaints, you don't just improve your mood, you improve your life. Because a person who learns to appreciate today, right now, is a person who will build a better tomorrow, a better day for their friends, a better sense of confidence and belonging. Still going to complain. Yeah, complain, sometimes it's fun. But don't complain without taking some time to be grateful. That's all I'm saying. All right, thanks so much for listening. Hit me up, david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com, or just hit the website, otalks.com. There's a ton of stuff there. Some good people are putting good stuff on there, and I appreciate it. Show you how to get in touch with me. I got to make sure it's updated, but it says where I am. If you want to come see me, hey. And then, I don't know, a lot of new stuff coming. Excited. It's going to be a great year. It's already March. What, are you kidding me? All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging on. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.